Morning, Remy. Thank you again for agreeing to do this interview with us. And hopefully, you
Thank
can tell us more about the WOOF campaign. Let's just start off by you telling us. So, I understand that Tractor has been involved with a lot of social impact initiatives in the past 2 years. What attracted you to this campaign specifically?
Cool. Thanks, Amanda, and thanks for having me on your show. Well, look, I think the COVID taught a lot of people, if you go back 2 years ago, COVID definitely changed the mindset a lot about a lot of businesses. We definitely found out during that experience how vulnerable we were as a business. We were fortunate enough that we could get through COVID relatively unscathed, but I think that was sort of the start of us reviewing the way we do business and also to change the way we do business in the communities that we work on. So it's been a long process where we've been changing our business to a profit for purpose business. There's a new type of business coming out called a benefit corporation, where the focus is not only around making money for shareholders, but also how can you positively influence stakeholders, which is everybody from your staff, your suppliers, to your environmental impact. So we've been on this long journey over the last 2 years of trying to find initiatives that made sense and that we could really make a great impact on. As far as this particular initiative for Planet WOOF, I liken it to, back in the olden days, you'd go to your arcade and you'd find these community boards, and on it you'd find, a local event, or somebody's trying to find their cat, or there'd just generally be information that will be for the particular community. So we started looking at that as, how can our national network of digital billboards be used as a force for good, and how can we use it as a platform to speak on behalf of those kinds of initiatives that might not have that kind of money to be able to spend on a digital network. So for this particular initiative, we've always been looking for some kind of dog adoption agency that we could assist with, and our partnership with Oscar Ark and Planet WOOF seemed like a no-brainer, purely that they had done such a good job from a beautiful branding perspective. They have their pop-up shops, but this is a nice, clean brand that lives very well on the out-of-home scene. So I literally just popped an email out to Joanne saying, listen, I love your brand, and I have this idea. I'd love to see how we can get your animals in front of South Africans and spur on more adoptions. And that spurred her on and got her excited to create a studio with photographers, and we came up with this beautiful campaign, as you may have seen, where dogs are dressed up in particular celebrities. We attach a QR code to each one of them as well. So if you're interested in adopting the dog, you can snap a QR code and be taken to a vetting page and go adopt that particular animal. So this is sort of the start of this initiative and where we are with this particular campaign.
And tell me more about these billboards. Where are they placed? Where can we see them? Where can we find them, and things like that?
So we have just over 200 of them across the country, covering major highways, from Cape Town all the way through to Johannesburg, PE, East London. And then also we have a much smaller format network, which is located at BP's with a Pick and Pay Express, as well as Sasol's with Sasol Delight. So I would say every major metropolitan, you'd be able to find it. If you look underneath the billboard, and it's a digital billboard, you can see the word tractor, those belong to us. And you can just keep an eye on it, and you'll probably see one of Joanne's dogs being flighted up on one of those screens.
Okay. And how can people be involved? Can you just explain a bit more in terms of the QR code?
Yeah. So whenever you see one of these ads flighted, you can just whip out your phone. If you've got one of the newest phones, smartphones, you could probably just open up your camera and tap into the QR code. Obviously, the ones on the sides of the highways, I probably wouldn't recommend anybody tap into that, because you shouldn't be using your phone when you're driving. But if you are stationed at a BP or a Sasol that has a digital screen outside, and you safely park there getting in some fuel, you'd be able to snap a QR code at one of those locations where it's a little bit more safer to use your phone.
Okay. And then in terms of the actual billboards, I mean, those are just amazing. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I saw one of the adverts the other day, specifically when it had to do with the celebrities. Um, how instrumental was Tractor specifically when it came to the whole campaign and the development of the campaign?
Yeah, so we, as mentioned, I reached out to Joanne initially with just a very simple concept and an extension to just help, and she just took it to another level. She came up with the idea of, dressing them up like superheroes, coming up with the punchy creative. In actual fact, she went so far as even securing a small sponsor that was able to pay for the co-branding of this, which in turn actually pays for her photographer and her studio and all the props and things. So she's been very innovative in building this campaign out. We just gave her the platform and told her how many ad flightings you'll do every month, but she's been instrumental in probably wrapping the whole thing up from an aesthetically pleasing perspective. And it's a good partnership. It's working at the moment.
Okay, and then just very lastly, is there anything else that you'd like to share with regards to the campaign? Maybe how long will it be running, and maybe something that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, so we've been running the campaign for just over 2 months now, and I mean, ever since we've run it, 11 dogs have found a home, and we've seen this number will probably just start increasing as the advertising lives in the market a little bit longer. But for the time being, we are committed to the initiative for at least 12 months. I don't expect that we will just end it. I expect, in actual fact, we'll probably see how can we extend it onto more inventory that we've built, or how can we make it better, or how can we shake it up a bit. Animal adoption is a thing in South Africa, and it is a problem that we're not going to solve in our lifetime probably. So it just needs consistent awareness.